First of all, let me explain the main elements of our speech, which contains 5 parts in total, as follows. The first section is our stance and reflections on materialism versus constructivism. Secondly, we list some examples and evidence to back up our claim. The third section is about the relevance of materialism and constructivism to the current times. The first part is the comparison of the strengths and drawbacks of materialism versus constructivism, and the final part is a discussion and conclusion part.
Our group's stand on this topic is that both perspectives have their own strengths and limitations, and can be used in conjunction to provide a more comprehensive understanding of behavior. Materialism is a perspective that emphasizes the physical or material underpinning of behavior, stressing that at the end of the day, behavior is nothing more than the result of neural activity. On the other hand, Constructionalism, with its emphasis on social and cultural factors that shape behaviors, is useful in understanding how behavior is shaped by people's beliefs, values, and experiences.
Materialism is a form of philosophical monism, which holds matter to be the fundamental substance in nature, and all things, including mental states and consciousness, are results of material interactions. Materialism is a materialist theory that holds there are no supernatural influences in the world and no afterlife. The materialist says that there are two passions, pleasure and pain, which affect anything that is alive. One is natural, while the other is something outside of our nature, and it is the basis of our judgment about all the needs to be chosen or discarded. This clearly demonstrates the theory we call today the principle of re-inspiration, which modern psychologists consider to be the basic mechanics of learning. Ivanskanov tries to explain all mental phenomena on the basis of materialism, where he believes that thoughts don't lead to the behavior. His book Reflexes of Brain, published in 1869, gave a philosophical analysis of mental process, stating that all actions of conscious and unconscious mental phenomena are reflexes according to their origin. In 1878, in his book Elements of Thinking, he analyzed the conditions of development of concrete and abstract thinking. Helm's major contribution to psychology include the measurement of the rate of nerve conduction. Helmholtz made the first measurement of nerve conduction rate using the frog nerve in 1850. He later used the same method to measure the conduction rate of human nerves.
The ideas formulated by the renowned Australian philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein provide the foundation for postmodernism language games. According to Wittgenstein, words and concepts only have the meanings ascribed to them by a community of users. Wittgenstein believes that language is a tool community members use to communicate. Each community established the definition of its language and the law governing how it should be used. In other words, each group develops its language games, representing its own form of existence. Therefore, in Wittgenstein's opinions, it's incorrect to say language as representing a reality that's not dependent on the mind. Instead, words assorted created reality. His rejection of the correspondence series of truths is in line with that of postmodernists. Wittgenstein did not dispute that physical words existent or the fact that our senses connect us to it. As opposed to this, he claimed that people could and do assign a wide range of meanings to their experience. A coin is money, but does not negate the fact that it is a mental disk that exists regardless of our belief in it. According to Slogan and Stearns, thus, the diagnostic criteria for mental illness and IQ test are notable examples of how postmodernists argue that culture and historical limited influence psychological laws, and that there cannot be an entirely objective, impartial reality. Psychologists will never be free from the limitation of tradition if they concentrate on the data and produce employed to measure.
Both materialism and constructivism have had some influence on contemporary time, and here are thoughts on relevance of the materialism with current time. The modern meaning of the materialist view of the matter is to respect the objectivity of matter, to start everything from the practical and to seek truth from facts, and at the same time to give full play to human beings. First of all, materialism reveals the law of the human social development and indicates the direction of the human social development. With the high development of the productive forces, human capabilities become the cause element in the procreative forces. The appropriation of human beings by their own productive forces becomes a universal reality, and the new principle of the social construction besides on free and comprehensive development of human beings will replace the principles of class exploitations beside on materialist dependence. And there will be transitions to a communist societies with the free and comprehensive development of human beings. Secondly, materialism reveals the inner structure and inner mechanisms of social development and provides of the society fit path of the development for contemporary society. As mankind moves from a tutorial existence to a global one, where the social development cannot be closed and isolated, but develops in universal connection, thus requiring the relationship between open development and autonomous development to be handled. This is an important inspiration for us in the new years to the comprehensive dependent reform and expand openness up to the outside world. In addition, materialism reveals the law of the human emancipation and highlights the main role of the people, economic and social development. Under the historical conditions of the development of the productive forces at a higher level, and the transition of the capitalism to socialism, the state of the human subject is constantly strengthened, and the humanistic and people-oriented nature of the development is constantly manifested. Materialism reveals the place and the role of the man in nature and provides the broad historical perspective on human development. Marx explains on providing people with a version of the grand historical perspective. In pursuit of the harmonious coexistence of man and nature, demonstrates the ecological dimension of historical materialism and the sentiments of the heavens and earth.
Constructionalism is a philosophical view that holds that most of what people learn and understand about the world is constructed. Constructivists believe that knowledge is created internally and reject the idea of pre-existing scientific knowledge waiting to be discovered. The content of constructionalism theory is very rich, but its core can be summed up in just one sentence: student-centered, emphasizing students' active exploration of knowledge, active discovery and active construction of the meaning of the knowledge they have learned. Simply put, it is not like traditional teaching, where knowledge is transferred from the teacher's head to the student's notebook. Both individual constructionalism and social constructionalism are used in education and teaching in current times. In the article, the two paths of students and teachers are expounded respectively. In general, philosophical thought will be ubiquitous in this day and age. In the continual development of society, these concepts are constantly improving and getting closer to our life.
This section contrasts the strengths and drawbacks of materialism and constructivism. For materialism, although it advanced the development of Marxism, focusing on the subjective role of the population in economic and social development and pushing psychology to a more scientific and objective path, it still has flaws. For example, the materialist theory cannot explain the concept of intentionality. And for constructivism, it transforms psychology from abstract knowledge to embodied subject knowledge, better enables students' autonomy in learning, improves the way teachers impart knowledge, and makes psychology responsive to the needs of the times, and promotes the development of education. However, Beck suggests that the term constructivism has definitions unrelated to what it's named. It also fails to take into account unformed, unsubconscious consciousness, and the functions that emotions play in learning. Therefore, generally, neither materialism nor constructivism is a perfect theory. Their strengths and contributions still outweigh their weaknesses, and they also have the same important status in the field of psychology. As a conclusion, our presentation first indicated our stance and reflections that both of them contribute to the development of human society in different ways and are therefore of equal importance. From the examples cited in Part 2, we also draw the following conclusions. Constructivism focuses more on personality psychology and psychoanalysis, and supports individualization and diversity of the research methods, whereas materialism encourages a biological interpretation of psychology and promotes the recognition of psychology as a science. In the third part, two main types of modern materialism involved are identified: dialectical materialism and historical materialism. We also indicated the outstanding contribution of constructivism in the contemporary field of education. In the fourth section, we further confirming our previous argument that, although neither materialism nor constructivism is a perfect theory, both have contributed to the development of human society and are equally important. Finally, as a conclusion, we point out that, although our study pioneered an in-depth comparison of constructivism and materialism, it falls short in not comparing each of the categories under them, which should be included in further work. That is all from us. Bye-bye.